J-Knight, Batrep!
So welcome back to part 3 of this Warhammer 40k battle report. So now it's Necrons turn 3. We just see if the Necrons come in the death marks, and they do with a 5. He decides to try to deep strike them near the Hive Guard so that they can maybe shoot at the Hive Guard or the Tervigon, and they do scatter. They scatter 10 inches. Luckily they don't land on anything and they don't mishap, but it's just a little bit farther away than he was hoping for. And when he came in, he marked the Tervigon for that 2+ to wound rule. Called Hunters from Hyperspace, I believe it's called. And then he starts moving up. So his Camtic and Wraiths move up to engage the Hive Guard. They're getting ready to attack. And one of them still has 1 wound left, and the other one is at full strength. And then his Flyer, his Night Scythe, just flies right at the Hormagaunts. He really does not like those Hormagaunts. And he decides to get his Lich Guard and Warlord to move up and engage my Hive Tyrant. And then the Monolith moves up. Get a Jinx save. So his death marks then start on my Tervigon. They need 3s to hit, so I get 4 hits, and now 2s to wound, because they marked him with the hyperspace thing. So 4 armor saves, and I pass all 4. The Tesla Immortals are then firing at my Hormagaunts again. Need 3s to hit, 6s get 2 more. So 6 hits on 5 shots, which isn't bad at all. That's what you gotta love, Tesla. So 2s to wound on the Hormagaunts. And all but 1, so 5 wounds. I roll 5 cover saves, fail 3, so 3 more front Hormagaunts are dead. Those Hormagaunts are eventually going to die because they're getting whittled down so much. The Monolith then does a Pipe Blade of Doom right on top of the Hormagaunts as well. And if it hits, it'll get all 5. And it's a direct hit, so it'll hit all 5. So 2s to wound on this. He gets 3 wounds. I roll my cover saves. All 3 fail, unfortunately, so 3 more Hormagaunts are dead. Then it fires its other guns at the same Hormagaunts. Need 3s to hit, 2 hits. And strength 4, 3s to wound. No wounds. And he does the same gun, same thing. This time all 3 hit. Still needing 3s, and 2 wounds. So 2 more cover saves. I fail 1, and 1 more Hormagaun is dead. I'm hoping that some Hormagaunts survive this game, frankly. So now the Night Scythe's firing at the Hormagaunts. Gets 2 extra hits. But it is twinling, so it gets to reroll. Misses. So 5 hits on 4 shots, which again isn't bad at all. And needs 2s to wound. But it's AP minus, so I still get my... Well, I get cover anyway, but... So he gets 4 wounds. I roll my 4 armor saves. And I've passed 1. Since the closer ones are out of cover. Luckily they're fearless because they're still in setups. And now we're just seeing if any of them arc. You do it for every squad within 6 inches of that squad, which are a lot in this case, so he picked a very good central target. Unfortunately he's not rolling any 6s. Nope. And doesn't get any more 6s. So far this arcing hasn't done anything. And then so the Wraiths declare their assaults on the Hive Guard. They get 11 inches, which is plenty. And I get to Overwatch. So I get my 6 shots for Overwatch. But I don't get any hits. Oh. So they get in. Luckily, I'm toughness 6. So I might be able to stand within a couple turns, but we'll have to see what happens. And then the Warlord and his squad declare their assault, and they roll a 3, which is what they needed. They just need anything more than 2. So we pile in initiative step 2 for that combat. We're both initiative step 2, so we go at the same time. We're doing his attacks first, just for simplicity purposes. So they need 4s to hit. Lucky for me, and he only gets 3 hits. And 4s to wound, and he gets 1 wound. So I roll 1 armor save. He does have 6+ rending, but I roll my normal armor save, but I fail it anyway. So one of them now has 1 wound, and the other 2 are at full strength. I get to hit back then with my 6 attacks. 4s to hit, and I hit with 5 of them, which is nice. And I need 4s to wound. So 2 wounds. He rolls his 2 3+ invols, and passes both. I lost combat by 1, but I'm fearless because I'm in Synapse. So really nothing happens. So for the combat, I decided to challenge his Overlord. And he's going to accept the challenge because he figured his Overlord is really tough, and my Hive Tyrant I thought was really tough, and it's kind of... I can't wait for you to see what happens because it's a very interesting result. So at this point, we're both missing 1 wound, so we'll see. I'm very curious seeing what will happen. Of course, he has a giant cheering section, so that means he'll get to re-roll 1 dice, have any one to hit to wound or his armor save. So we'll see what happens. I get to go first. So I get my 4 attacks. I have a higher weapon skill, so I get 3s to hit, re-roll 1s. I get 4 hits, and then 2s to wound, re-roll 1s. Because at this point, I'm strength 7, toughness 7. And I get 4 wounds. So he gets 4 3+ invols and fails 1. Now he will get to re-roll that later because we remembered about the cheering section afterwards. But he'll re-roll it next turn, just before the combat. So he gets 2 hits because he's 4s to hit. And strength 7 on my toughness 7, so 4s to wound. And he gets 2s. So I get to my 2 feel no pains because it goes through my armor. And I fail 1. So in the end, it was a tied combat. But I'm fearless anyway, so we'll have to see what happens in the future. And now it's Tyranids, turn 3. So once again, I need to see if my Duma Malantai comes in. And this time he does, finally. So I'm hoping that he'll jump in and do some damage. So I place him and I have to see if he scatters. Of course, he minimizes distance to avoid terrain and people. And likely it's a direct hit. So I drop the Doom right in there in the center so that he can hopefully make some leadership checks and hopefully fail some. And I kill some guys because that'd be very nice. So he casts... So one Tervigon is going to cast Catalyst on himself because he's in some trouble with those death marks. The other one is going to cast Catalyst on... He's just double checking the range for the Hive Tyrant. So right now I'm just double checking the range. He's casting Catalyst on himself. So that way he at least gets Feel No Pain as well. And it goes off. So both my Tervigons have Feel No Pain. And my Hive Tyrant casts Iron Arm on himself. Goes off. D3 in. And I roll a 6, luckily. So now he's Strength and Toughness 9, which is really nice. So now his Overlord needs 6s to wound. So now my Tervigon is going to go, and he's going to grab the objective. So now I have 4 points, because now he's going to hold the Relic, and hopefully he can just survive long enough to keep it for the rest of the game. And he decided to eat it, because Tyranids eat things, so we're going to hold the Relic by him eating it. My Hormigons continue to move up, because they just keep getting whittled down a little bit at a time, and they move up 6 inches. And I just continue to move them up. As I said, I just want to get them at the enemy, to tar pit them, tie them up, and keep my Tervigon alive so that I can win by holding the Relic. They're starting to get really small of a squad. My Tervigon decides then he'll just move up a little bit to maybe glance that flyer with his shooting. And my Hive Guard decided to move up as well, because they want to take out that Annihilation Barge, because now it can fire as normal list starting next turn. Okay, so then my Tervigons also advance. As I said right now, I really should probably spawn by now, but I'm okay with just perhaps spawning later. I was going to save for probably turn 4 or 5 to just spawn a bunch of Gaunts, just to get in front of my guys. So now it's beginning of the shooting phase, so it's time to do the Doom's brain-sucking power. So first leadership test they need a 10, and they fail by 2 by rolling a 12. So I'm giving them a 5+ cover, so they get 2 5+ cover saves from the Doom attack. And he passes 1, so in the end, Doom goes up to 5 wounds, and 1 Immortal falls down. So the next squad, they're also leadership 10. So he rolls his 3d6, and passes, unfortunately, because I was really hoping to take out some of those Lich Guard. And then the final squad, they roll a 13, so 3 fall down. Which is pretty nice. So now the Doom goes up to 8 wounds. So then my pod decides to shoot his tentacle attack at the Immortals, because he has to shoot at the closest target that isn't currently knocked down. And I get 2 hits, oh, sorry, 3 hits, but we decided to re-roll one because it was cocked. And I get 3 out of my hits, 3 out of my 6 hits. And I need, it's strength 6 on toughness 5, so 3 is to wound. And I roll 3 wounds. So he rolls his 3 armor saves and fails all 3 by rolling 3 1s. So that all of a sudden the drop pod is doing more damage than the Doom. What's going on here? But unfortunately there's one guy left. So I decided to try to cast my Cataclysm attack on him so I can wipe out the entire squad. I do my psychic test. And not only do I fail, but I peril. And then I take an additional D3 wounds. So I roll. And I rolled a 1. So he loses 2 wounds and he's down to 6. Just not good luck with the Doom. Then I have to waste my Tervigon shooting on him. So I fire my Tervigon shots. 4 shots, needing 4s to hit. And I get 2 hits. Or sorry, 3 hits. And I need 3s to wound. But I only roll 1 wound. So he gets his normal armor save. And he passes. Nothing is hurting this one Immortal. Maybe that's why he's immortal. My Tervigon then sees if he can glance that one vehicle to death. So he gets 1 hit, and on a 6, no glance. So my Hive Guard then have to shoot and try to destroy that Annihilation Barge. It'll probably be overkill, but it's better to take it out now. So I get 6 shots, 4 hits. Now I only need 3s to glance and 4s to pen, so I roll 2 pens and a glance. It can't jink because it didn't move, so I just roll to see if it explodes, and it does. How far? Only 1 inch, so it's not going to really hurt anything at all. Or sorry, 3 inches, but there's nothing within anything close to it. So now he rolls his reanimations for those 4 guys. First one does not get up. These are all on 5s because he doesn't have an orb in the squad. Second one does not get up. Luckily, that drop pod did a good job. Third one doesn't get up. And I was changing dice because obviously that dice is just not doing well. And the fourth one doesn't get up, so that essentially all 4 are dead, and that's great news for the Tyranids. Then he rolls for the 3 Necron warriors that were hurt, and they're good. So I try to assault with the Hormigons into that combat. I get to reroll because I have fleet, because I only got 5 inches. So I decide to reroll 2 of the dice. And it results in me getting 5 inches again. So they're not, unfortunately, close enough, and they don't get into assault this turn. So back to the combats. So once again, at the same time, we'll do his attacks first. He needs 4s to hit, so he gets 4 hits from the Wraiths on the Hive Guard. And it's strength 6 on toughness 6, so 4s to wound. But 6 is rend. And he rolls 2 wounds and a rend. So I rolled my 2 armor saves. And fail 1. So essentially, one guy is dead and the other guy has a wound left. He's slowly whittling down the Hive Guard. I get my 6 attacks back because it's at the same initiative. I get 4 hits and 1 wound. He rolls a 3+ invulnerable save. I'm really hoping he gets... Oh, and he passes it. But they're still in Synapse, so they're fearless. So now I let him, at this point, re-roll his invul save from last turn because he had the cheering section and he passed it. So now his guy has 2 wounds left and my Hive Tyrant also has 2 wounds left as well. So now they're both even. So this time I decided to try smash attacking because I figured just might as well try it and see if I can get lucky, and he'll be instantly killed if he fails it. So I just want to try. I got 1 hit. I get to reroll the other one, but I still failed a hit. And now I need 2s to wound, reroll 1s, and I would do wounds. Now it's a 3+ invulnerable save. Plus, at least this would make him use his reroll. But he passed it, unfortunately. So now he gets a hit back with 3 attacks, needing 4s to hit, but he's going to use one of his rerolls, or his only reroll, due to his cheering section. He's going to use one of his rerolls to reroll this to hit roll, because that way it doubles his chances of getting a wound. And hits as well. And I need 6s to wound. And a wound would automatically go through the armor, so just 6s to force a wound, essentially. Yep. But he doesn't get a 6, so nothing happens in that combat. Alright, so after 4 turns, that was turn 4. No, it was turn 3. Turn 3? Turn 3. That was turn 3? Turn 3. What's the marker at? Turn 3, yes. That's turn 3. Sorry, I don't know what day it is anymore. So, yeah, that combat's still going. His death marks are getting suspiciously close to shooting my guy who is eating the objective. And the Doom's now in, and he'll hopefully suck some brains out of some of his guys before they get to attack. His Flyer's still flying around, and it's going to drop his load eventually somewhere, and mischief will happen. That's all I can say, is mischief will happen. So we'll see what happens in turn 4. So thank you very much for watching this part. And when you're ready, click on the link below to go to part 4 of this Warhammer 40k battle report.